The mind in its own place and in itself can create a heaven of hell and a hell of heaven. Quoted by John Milton from his epic Paradise Lost. It is a choice that one makes in the most difficult of times, defines who you are and what exactly do you want. No matter whatever the situation is, you will thrive, you will rise beyond every challenge. You will emerge strong as a phoenix, facing all your fears, carving the best version of you, the true you, the beautiful you, the evolved you, the one with a powerful mind and a strong will. It is true, you cannot change every situation. And you cannot blindly believe the fact that every situation can favor you. But out there, there is one choice that can alter the course of your life forever. In the most vulnerable moment of your life, that phase of solitude, where you feel everything and everyone has deserted you, when you're surrounded by people, especially your loved ones, even you feel lonely. You cannot actually tell them what pain you're going through. That is the pain which you have within, the one you have to fight against. Today, I'm here to share my journey, my experience, the mistakes I made and the lessons I've learned from it. I would like to convey 3 most important facts which I believe would strengthen every individual, both personally and professionally. 1, figure your true identity. 2, do the right thing. 3, the most important one, be a contributor. Great men, as they say, the balance of nature always needs to be restored. So, from the beginning of history, humans are taking energy, positivity, and whatnot to strengthen them, to build them. So when you reach that stable and steady state, you need to give back to the society and community. That is how the naturalist laws work. Today, I'm here in this platform as a mother of 2 amazing kids, a serial entrepreneur, a marketing strategist, a brand custodian, owner of 2 successful ventures, a huge startup failure, not once but twice. But still I made it up because I believed in me. I fought with my own worst nightmares. I made the choice. I went for my instincts. I did what I felt was right. So my saga begins when I migrated from Dubai to India to settle here, especially for my kids' education. Me and my husband decided that I would take up a job so that I can find more time for my family. And hence I joined a college as a professor. What I would like to mention is that the corporate world and the academia world is kind of 2 different verticals as such. Since I have been associated with corporate for long, it's kind of like a very busy schedule, but always full of excitements, challenges. But on the other hand, if you come to academia, it's kind of like a steady, routine kind of stuff. Nothing much to explore. I'm talking about my perspective, okay? So in that phase, I was actually going through a big void. And that is when I started engaging in more events, especially the tech festivals. And during that phase, I happened to interact with a lot of students where I came to know their actual problem. I was trying to help them to crack interviews, helping them to get hired. And in that process, unknowingly, I was stepping into the boots of an entrepreneur. And that is how I started my first venture, Oriya, which had an employability program that addresses the cognitive, social, and digital skills of the students so that they can be accepted by corporates and MNCs. I was so obsessed with my brainchild, I forgot on focusing about the implementation part. No big rocket science, like every other amateur startup. I also put a lot of money on infrastructure, resources and what not, but not figuring out what are those channels which would generate revenue. Result? I ended up as a pathetic failure. My family was kind of very angry with me because initially when I was about to start this venture also, they were not very happy with it, but still they let me try my luck. So I had to wind up my entrepreneurial venture and I came back to the corporate world again, took up a job, and then from a sales and marketing head, I became the general manager of an MNC, and during that time I happened to connect with a lot of business people. So here comes one valid point. Once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. So though I did close up my dreams for a small amount of time, this was in a passive mode within me, and once the business environment triggered up, it came into the active mode. So I decided I will plunge back into business again. This time it was not easy because my family was totally against it, except my mom. You know, mothers always support their kids. So I took the challenge and I made that happen. But this time I changed the perspective of my entire business. I focused on marketing as it was my forte, and things were going pretty smooth. And I thought I know all the rules of the games and I've learned a lot from my mistakes, but I missed a point. And here is what I want to tell every aspiring entrepreneurs and startups out there. When you choose your co-founder or your associate or partners, you always need to be very cautious and critical because faith cannot be achieved that easily. What happened with me was that I trusted an associate and I was a part of a project, and since they didn't do payment in the right time, the vendors were kind of having pretty issues for which I had to take responsibility, and I made the payments. That situation was kind of huge because I was not prepared for it. And eventually, again, my business totally went into a disaster. Now, I was going through a moment where I didn't know what to tell to people because even my family will not take this. My loved ones had warned me before, and you have to understand that the profession in which I am in, it is actually dominated by men. So for a woman, for a mother, for a wife, for a daughter, again to balance a business is not that very kind of easy because there's a huge clash of roles. What do you give priority more? So I was fighting within me, how do I go with this, all these things? I took a small break, went on a hibernation mode. I did discuss this problem with few of my close associates. Since they cared a lot, they told me I should never get into path of entrepreneurship again because it involved a lot of risk, and besides I had two major failures. Whereas if I go for a corporate job, definitely I'll get a good one, good perks, everything smooth, steady and stable career. Again, confusion brewing. And that is when I met another professional who was also trying to make a mark in the industry, who happens to be my partner now. And we collaborated since we were experts in our own domains, and we had a common vision. We did really crack it. Things were going pretty smooth, but life is not a very beautiful fairy tale. The biggest threat of humanity, COVID-19, hit during that time. Can you just imagine my mindset? A person who had toiled, struggled to make her dreams up in the mid of a lot of responsibility, convincing everyone around her and deciding to go for her own dreams. And then this is happening. Trust me, failure was not an option. I am not going to be a loser again. And how am I going to get out of this hell? So, out there, I have a community which is going to blame me for the decision I have taken. And how do I tell my loved ones that I lost again? And you know what? On the other side, I have a group of people, my team members, who believe that I will come up with a solution. Because their ultimate hope lies on me. Can you imagine that pressure on one single person who has to handle all these things? I knew it. There is no solution that anybody can give me for this. I will have to figure it myself. I thought deep and deep. Critical thinking, analytical thinking, whatever I could, I did. And that is where I decided I need to crack this up. I need to get out of this loop. So I went through some researches, and I understood that digital business was picking up very much that time. So I discussed with my partner. So we decided to expand our team, and now inquiries were coming, but the issue was that where do we get this people? Again, to spend more money was not a wise decision. That is where I bought the same old concept likes back, through which we trained our interns. And this time we had people because we had in-house experts. And thus, we did come out of this huge problem. You won't believe it, we made the maximum revenue during this COVID times. We hit all the headlines of newspapers, Fortune India, Entrepreneur India, Your Story, Deccan Chronicle, you name it. I got more than 15 to 20 awards. So what I want to tell you is one single thing. What if I didn't have that courage to take up the decision of fulfilling my dreams? So if I can do it, trust me guys, every single one out there can do it. I'm a living testimony of that. History has shown us people have thrived out and come successfully out of it. You know what? Whenever there is a problem, for sure there is a solution. The only thing you have to do is you have to show the patience and figure out the puzzle and exactly identify where the solution is. So my dear friends, just live up your dreams, protect your dreams, whatever it is. Even when you're struggling with your own worst nightmares, always keep believing in you. Because no one can understand better than you. And it is in that confined moment where you have everyone around you, but still you are the only solution to your problems. That is where you meet the reality and you come up with the powerful version of you. There's only one life. You can't keep on struggling with your problems. You have to come out of it. No matter what, never ever give up. Just live up to yourself. Thank you.